is your host, Hollie, and it's time for a little teaser talk.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Rockville Day 2, right? Yeah. I am so excited to be here with Jake from Citizen Soldier. How are you?
How are you?
Doing fantastic. And I just want to kick off first to say, you guys played earlier today.
We were the very first band.
So how was the crowd? How was the vibes? Because it was weird. There was like a storm delay a little bit and all these other unknowns, the view that comes with outdoor festivals.
It was great. I mean, we had a tornado situation in Nashville like 2 days ago, so it's been weird. It was great. We had like a few hundred of our fans here early, ready to go.
Nice.
It was really cool to be at such a big festival and have people there. They know your songs, feel like you belong. It's a good feeling. So it was great.
Yeah, when I came in first, like to Pedia, it was like a ghost town. I'm like, is it happening today? But then when I went out there, I'm like, oh, good, there's life out here. So 100%. Well, as a group that's founded on lyrical themes around mental health, which is amazing, how do you approach incorporating these emotionally charged messages into your music, and what impact do you hope your songs have on your listeners?
That's a good question. I think a lot of bands write songs about mental health because everyone has experiences with that, right? I think what makes us unique is I'm a mental health professional. I'm a trauma therapist. I'm a social worker. I have 2 degrees in social work from the University of Utah, so I work as a therapist part-time with complex trauma clients, and when I'm not doing that, I'm with the band. So I think we have a unique clinical lens on. I'm not just talking to fans or talking about my own experiences. I'm getting these patterns and experiences from my therapy clients that really inform the music. And so I would hope that it's educational, and more than anything, that our goal as a band is to get as many people to therapy as possible. That's our brand.
I love that. And, I love that, I say recently, it's up and coming. There is a lot of awareness around mental health, which is fantastic. But there's still that stigma to it as well. Especially the way I grew up. We always grew up with, like, you don't tell anybody anything, you deal with it yourself. So I absolutely adore that about you guys. So with that, how do you guys navigate the balance between intense emotional performances like that while maintaining a sense of accessibility and exclusivity with your audience, especially when addressing those sensitive topics?
We try to be ourselves on stage. We're awkward, we're weird, we make jokes. I mean, it's just like, I feel like there's so much like toxic masculinity baked into rock and roll, right? And so I think when we get up there, we try to put on a professional show, but we have moments where we can go off script and we have fun, and we try to be vulnerable and include little moments on stage where maybe we talk about if we're struggling or having a rough day, and people respond to that so much more than like wanting to see someone who's this god or this perfect being on stage, this rock star, right? Like, people want someone they can relate to and connect with and feel safe with. So I think it's a combination of the intense messages, but when they meet us, recognizing that I'm a teddy bear and I'm a goofball, and we all struggle. So I think just being honest about that and not suppressing it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously I can't relate because I'm not a rock star, but I'm sure, like, when you have that awareness, it's easier to perform being yourself versus creating this visage or like this image that everything's great and you're just this big badass. So I'm sure, right, it would come up more naturally, like you feel more comfortable being yourself.
100%. I think people respond to authenticity, and people don't feel like badasses most of the time. People feel awkward and out of place, and I think they want someone that they feel like gets them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I know too, working with artists and businesses and stuff in the professional side. One thing I think that is a big thing is imposter syndrome too. And I always tell people, like, and I didn't create this, so I cannot take credit for it, but I heard one time it's like when that imposter syndrome kicks in, it's called a badass list. And you think of all the badass things you've ever done. I mean, it could be something huge as in like performing at Welcome to Rockville, or it could be something as little as getting the laundry done, because sometimes that can be a huge thing for somebody. But having this list ready, because I personally keep that in my back pocket too when I'm about to interview somebody or about to do something, I'm like, wait, you know what, I'm a badass. It kind of helps you kind of ground yourself a little bit, but also, pump yourself up a little bit. Yeah, it's a good little tip for sure that I've learned. So I'm curious, what makes Welcome to Rockville a special event for Citizen Soldier, and how can you share your favorite aspect of being a part of this amazing music festival?
I think we're kind of on the outside a little bit. We're the redheaded stepchild when it comes to rock music because we don't have a label, we don't have resources, we don't have the machine behind us. And so I think what's cool about these festivals is we are pulling so many kids to shows that we forced our way into this conversation. We didn't have help, we didn't have an in. Our agent showed the numbers and they said, okay, we got to get these guys involved. So we're really proud of that. And I think that being here, we try to not get sucked into like the politics and like we don't think that like we value ourselves based on the amount of people we're able to impact and how we feel supported. And so whether that's at a private show or a festival, it doesn't really matter to us. But I think the festival is representation of, hard work and how you may not feel like you belong. You may not feel like you have the tools you need to be successful, showing up and proving people wrong and forcing yourself in the conversation. I think a lot of people can relate to it.
Absolutely. And, with you guys kind of being self-made in that sense, I feel like each member of the band does bring unique talents to the table and perspectives. So how does such a collaborative dynamic within the band influence your songwriting process and overall sound of music?
I think it just depends on the song. I think I tend to bring the skeletons of ideas to the band. And if there's something they really identify with or a subject matter or a topic that really is close to home for them, they will say, hey, I want to be involved in something, be part of this. And then, when people who care about something come together on something, you can feel the care that's put into that song. There's some meticulous about the way things come across and how it's finished up. So I think it's that. I think it's people, not everyone trying to get their hands on everything all the time.
Yeah.
It's not about like
too many cooks in the kitchen.
I want to write everything. Exactly. It's about like where can I want to pick my punches? Where can I like bring something really meaningful to the group?
And that's what a lot of successful bands I think have in common is that maturity of not having to be the star of the show every single time or having to be the one that does everything. It's allowing, okay, where can I shine and where can I apply things, and also knowing when to step back and let somebody else shine as well. So you guys, like you said earlier, are from Utah, so Salt Lake City, correct? Beautiful. So how has being from that area influenced the band's sound and creative direction? And what elements of your hometown culture have you seen reflected from that?
I don't think this is unique to Utah, but I think everywhere you go, there's a dominant religion or group that people are a part of, and there's a group of people who feel, glasses coming down, people who feel really ostracized and on the outside when they don't belong. And so Utah's very religious, and I work with a lot of people who their faith is really important to them, and I work with a lot of people who are leaving their faith or deconstructing their faith or feel like they've been hurt by their faith. And so I think that learning how to get out of the echo chamber and listen to people every single day that have had a totally different experience than you. It's like going to a different country and being the minority for the first time and seeing what that feels like. I think that being a therapist forces you to interact with people that just have had such a different experience than you. And it makes you so much more empathetic and slow to judge, because we have this American rhetoric baked into our brains that if you pull up your bootstraps and work hard, you can accomplish anything. And there's some good truth to that, but people are dealt such different hands when it comes to life and the advantages and disadvantages they have based on where you were born and socioeconomic status. And so I think that it's helped me slow down and reflect on my own privilege and the struggles that people go through that get swept under the rug and aren't talked about. I think those are unique things that we try to discuss in our music.
Yeah, and I always think of Utah, and just because they're my favorite band, but The Used or Utah. So, I remember, I think I started following when I was 13 or something, which is just 10 years ago. No, just kidding. But anyways, yeah, but there was a lot of struggle that they had too, early in the scene and stuff coming from Utah. You said, a whole lot of religious and, not feeling like you don't belong there. So I think it's cool how you kind of take that and incorporate though too, the professional mental health side of it and kind of understanding it and identifying that.
Well, what's crazy is Utah's our biggest market. We just played a hometown show in Salt Lake Complex, and we sold it out. I think it was 2,300 kids.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It's unreal.
Congrats.
Thank you. And it's so cool to have our biggest market be in our backyard.
Yeah.
Where we're from. yeah, Salt Lake is a great market for music. A lot of bands stop there. People show up. I think there are a lot of people in Utah that feel like they're on the outside looking in. So again, I think it's just been a good opportunity to learn how to be and understand.
I love that. So looking ahead, could you tease us with any upcoming projects, new music coming out, collaborations, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, we try to be pretty cutting edge. We try to be on top of the platforms that are the most user friendly at the time. Like we were pretty quick to jump on TikTok when it came out, before it was cool.
Yeah.
And it's helped us a lot. I think we try to really be putting out material and taking care of our fans and telling their stories. And so we release music probably more than any other band in active rock. So we have an album coming out called Icarus. It's our new record, and we're releasing songs from that record every month. We have collaborations coming up that we're really excited about. Yeah, we just have a constant stream of content always happening. So we're obsessed with songwriting. We love writing songs.
And I'm curious though too, because we pump out so much content and songs, all that stuff, but you guys do it with purpose. I'm curious because like a lot of people, they're just so occupied with, I just have to put something out to stay relevant. But instead, I feel like you guys are doing that to not to stay relevant, but just to reach people and make them feel heard, make them feel felt.
Yeah, I mean, for every 12 songs we put out, we wrote 60. So it's frustrating when people have that perception of like, oh, it's just quantity over quality.
They just they discredit.
It's like, no, we write a lot of songs to get to these songs. I would rather put out more songs and have some songs surprise us than have them be on the shelf and never know. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like we had a song called "Would Anyone Care," which is our #1 song now. It's going to be certified gold in a couple of years, and we had producers tell us this is a B-side. This isn't even an album track, and we didn't listen. We put it out. So, like, can you imagine if we'd never released that song? Right? It changed our careers. So, we'd rather let people decide and just let people have it. And even if it's easy to look at streams and be like, oh, this song didn't do well, but then you have that fan come to you at a show and say, this song's changed my life.
Saved my life or something.
Yeah,
because it's interesting because I was talking to August Burns Red yesterday, and they were talking about like their record label was like talking about a song, and they're like, oh no, we don't even want this on your album. We're like, okay, we'll put it to the very last one. Well, then that ended up being like blowing up and being one of their hit songs. I think it just went platinum or something like that. Some crazy like wise. But anyways, I thought it was really cool because it's kind of that you have that limitation of people telling you no, but then you also overcome that with the belief of I think I know my fans. I think they're gonna appreciate it.
Exactly. I mean, I think filters can be good for certain parts of songwriting. Because you can learn and grow from that, but I think you can also filter yourself out of a song if you listen to too many people. Like we have some older songs that do so well and better, and I'm like, why is this new stuff not doing so well? It's so polished and good and well written, but like maybe our fans like old weird Jake songs. Like it just feels so mean and different. And so we try to keep that in mind, and I try to ask for feedback, but also not get too sucked into what people think and trust my gut because at the end of the day, you know your fan base better than any manager or tastemaker.
Someone looking at a spreadsheet or analytics. 1,000%. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone listening, you guys make sure to go in, follow, and obviously if you haven't, follow them on Spotify, all the streaming platforms, because as you just heard, there's going to be music coming out week after week after week. So stay tuned. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Teaser Talk. Head over to teasertalk.com to subscribe so you don't miss out on another episode. Until next week, keep rocking.